Welcome back everyone to this part 4 of our CRUD Operations series. In this video we are going to talk about creation and deletion of data using Prisma in our MySQL database. In the previous videos we have created the schema.prisma file. We have created three models: users, to do and tags. We identified the relation between users and to do and one more relation between to do and tags. Let's see how we captured the data in the previous video. So we created utility function get query outputs. In this utility function we called the query data method from our pages. In the pages we have got query output, the page.js. We extracted data out of this utility method and displayed as a console log output. Let us open our terminal and run a command npx prisma studio. Once we run this command, we will be able to see what all models exist in our database and what all data exists within these models. So we have got three models: users, to do and tags. In the users model we have got two lines, John, Mike. If we go to the to do model, we have got three to dos, and you can see the relation between the users and to dos. And if I go to the tags, we have got four tags and each of the tag has got one relationship with the to do. Now let's see how we ran this application. So to do that, I'm going to open one more terminal and we are going to say npx prisma, npm run dev. This will run our Nextjs application. And once this application is run, if we go to our localhost 3000, we should be able to query our data. So the page name was query output. If we go to the query output page, you will be able to see a blank page, but in the terminal we should be able to see all the data from the query output utility method. So in this video we are going to create data in our database. First step, we are going to create one more utility method in our utils folder. So let's create that very quickly. So let's name it as createuser.js. I'm going to create the data inside this. So let's export const create user equals to, it's a asynchronous function, and in this asynchronous function I'm going to return the data, whatever the user output is. The very first step, if you remember from our previous video, we have to put a try catch block. In the try catch block we create the connection, and then based on that connection we simply call the Prisma. So we have to import the Prisma at the top as well. So import Prisma from our Prisma client, and then the very first thing which we are going to do is we are going to create results as a constant, and we will invoke our Prisma client for the users model. The method name is create. In this create method, the Prisma expects the data to be provided. The data format which Prisma expects is we have to use a keyword called data, and then we have to provide the object as a data. So let's give the column names webdev, first name, the last name I can name it as Vice, and then validated is the third column in our database as false. So what we have done here is we have invoking the create method on the Prisma with this specific data. Let's return the results, whatever the results we have got, and let's remove this method. Give it a quick save. Now the method is created. Let's try to invoke this method in our page.js. I'm going to comment out all the three lines, and then I'm going to call this create user result as await create user method from the utility method, and I'm going to console.log this create user result. The response will be JSON, so I have to stringify that. Now I've stringified the JSON output. Everything should work now. So if I go to my terminal after clicking a quick save, you should be able to see a new data with the ID of 28, first name as webdev and last name as wise is created with the creation date of 29th of August 2023. If I go to my Prisma Studio, you should be able to see the new user which we just created, webdev wise. The validation status is false. So that's how we create data in our database using Prisma. The next thing which we are going to do, we are going to create one more method in our create users utility method. The method name will be what if we want to create multiple users. So I'm going to copy the same code and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to name this method as create users rather than user. In this method we are going to create multiple records. To do that, I'm just simply creating a data variable and I'm going to create an array of objects. The first name will be test user 1, last name could be last name 1, very creative, and then validated, let's say it is true. The second user will be first name test user 2, last name will be last name 2, and validated equals to false. What we have done here, we have created an array of objects. So let me give it format this very quickly. To format, you have to simply press Alt Shift F on your keyboard and the code will get formatted. Once you have created this const variable, you simply need to pass this variable here in the data folder. I should name this as users data. Now let me replace this as users data. Now what we are doing here is we are calling the prisma.user create many method with the multiple records of user data, and system should be able to create that very quickly. Before saving this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment out this code so that no more records should get created in our database. Let's go to create users, give this a quick save, and let's go back to your page.js file. I'm going to create one more variable, create users result equals to await create users. On the top you can see create users is called from our utility, imported from our utility methods. And now console.log, same thing. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to name this variable as create users result. Now the moment I click on save, the terminal should get kicked off and we should be able to see the results. Let me bring this terminal on the right hand side so that you can see the results instantly. Clear this terminal, and in the view I am going to mark this as word wrap. Okay, so we are calling our create users method in the page.js, and I'm going to simply click save, and let's see the result. You can see 2 users are created in the database as a result of this create many method. And if I go back to my Prisma Studio, I should be able to see the 2 new records. Test user 1 and test user 2 are created in the system. As you know, we have got a parent-child relationship between the users and to-do, and between to-do and tags. So to create data between relationships, what we have to do, we have to use the same method, but we have to follow a hierarchy. Let's see an example. I'll go again to our utility method, and I'm going to create one more method by copying the original method, and I'm going to name this method as create user with to do. So this method is going to create users as well as related to do. The data for this should look like, I'm going to copy this user data variable and paste it here, and I'm going to paste the user data variable here, and I'm going to rename this user data variable to user data with to do. In this variable, I'm going to pass both users as well as to do records. So firstly, we have to give first name test user 3, last name as last name 3, validated as true. And to create the child relationship, we have to identify the model name, and then we have to tell what exactly are we doing. So we are creating the data, and then in this creation we have to pass the array of objects. So the column name was to do text under to do model to do 1, and the completed column will be false. So what we have done, we have created one variable where we identified the user record columns, and then we have identified the to do record columns in this variable, and then we are going to pass this data into our prisma.users.create, and let me remove this entire thing and replace that with the user data with to do. Once we save this, the user record should get created, but before doing that, I'm going to comment out our utility method from the page.js so that no new records are created. Give it a quick save, and let's go to page.js. I'm going to create one more constant, create user to do record. It will be in synchronous call, create users with to do, and let's console.log this data, create users to do comma null comma 2. Give this a quick save. Before doing that, I'm going to clear out the terminal, and let me go here. Okay. Before saving this, I am just resizing this and clearing out the terminal. Let's save this. The moment you save, you should be able to see a new record is created for test user 3, but you are not able to see the to do because in the return parameter, what we have said, we have not captured the child as a display. From the previous videos of your search, sorting and pagination, you must remember we have to include the keyword in our queries so that we can see the childs. To do that, what we have to do, in this we have to use the include keyword, to do, and we have to mark it as true. If we say include to do as true and now we give it a quick save, you should be able to see as a resultant the to do object as well. Let's go to our Prisma Studio and see how the data is reflected. In the Prisma Studio, you can see test user 3 are 2 times created because one record we created where we were not able to see to do in the console, and then the second one you were able to see in the console. If I click on to do, you should be able to see the to do one which we created in our parent-child relationship hierarchy. So that's how you can create records in your database using Prisma as a parent-child relationship. What if you want to create only the to-dos related to the parents? So to do that, let's go back to our VS Code, and I'm going to go into my utility method, and I'm going to create one more utility method. I'll copy the code from here, and then I'm going to create one more file. Rather than saying create users, I'm going to say create todo.js. Paste the entire method and then rename this create todo. Remove this entire thing. To do data equals to the to do which we want to create is to do text, and let's say to do text 1 or maybe 2 and completed as true. So we have prepared a to do, but we want to assign this to do to a user record because it is a child and it has to go with a parent. So the parent column name is user ID, and the user ID we are going to pick up from the Prisma Studio. So let's try to assign this to one of the records. This one, it does not has any to do assigned, so ID number 13. I'm going to use this ID number 30 to assign a to do. If you look at it, we don't have any users assigned to do assigned to this. So let's go back to our VS Code, and the user ID which I'm going to assign to this is 30. Now the next step is, while calling Prisma, we have to change the schema name to do, and we have to simply use the same method create. The data will be coming as to do data, and let's remove this include keyword. Before saving, you know the drill. We have to comment out the variables from our page.js so that nothing should happen. I'm going to clear out my terminal, and then let's go to our create to do. Give it a quick save. In the page.js, I'm going to import the create to do method. So create to do result equals to await create to do method console.log create to do create to do result, and we have to json.stringify this entire thing. Let's give it a quick save and see how the result is appearing in our terminal. Save. Now you look at on the right hand side, the to do ID we have got is 12. The to do text we passed as to do text 2, and completed status is true, which has been passed along with the ID 30. Let's go to our Prisma Studio and see whether this got tagged to the user 30 or not. The user 30 record is this one, right? Let's see the to do. A new to do text 2 with the ID number 12 is created in the system and perfectly assigned to the user number 30 in the system. So that's how you can create only the childs, you can create only the parents, or you can create both parent and childs together in single record. Before going away, I would like to thank you to all my subscribers. If you have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe to our channel and go to the playlist section for all the CRUD Operations series. You can watch all the videos in this playlist. Thank you.